Hello guys. Welcome back to another session. So this will be our last session of Compose Camp, so we can start off with today's session. So today's session will be mostly covering about list, and at the last we'll also be covering about collection types, and we'll be building a full-fledged application at the end, and we'll see. Yeah, we can start it, I guess. Praveen, are you here?
Yes, boss, I'm here. Yep.
Okay, over to you, Praveen.
Yeah. Let me begin. So, let me turn on my camera first, I guess. So, yeah, am I visible? Yep, cool. Okay. Yeah. So, is my screen visible? My screen is visible, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, cool. So, yeah, today we're gonna cover this is the last compose camp from Google DAC of SJAC. So, I guess let's begin. So, let's make this, kind of well, let's try to do today's session with a certain example. So, let's open a playground, Kotlin playground, and we'll try out some things over there. So, anybody have here? Do you have any ideas of what is collections? Like it may be any programming language. Like I guess the audience here are second years. Probably you might have studied this in first year. So, any idea what is collections? No, nothing. Okay, fine. It's fine. Let's move. So, collections are basically uh, you know uh, see, in the first sessions or the second sessions, my other teammates have taught you about variables and how to store a integer or how to store a string in a variable, right? So imagine you want to store multiple variables in the same name. So that's where collections are called. Collections in Kotlin, basically, in today's scope, we'll cover four things. That is arrays, list, sets, and map. Okay. So we'll start with the first one. What is arrays? Arrays are nothing but a sequence of elements. The each element is called, I mean, each items in one. It's like what do you call it? It's a bag, a carry bag, but it's an ordered set. It like the items inside that are called as elements. So each elements are added one after the other, and it can be accessed through index. Like as I told, it's an ordered set, right? So every element has an index. So 8 has a 0. So it's a custom in a programming language to start anything with a 0 instead of 1. So so indexing starts with 0. So if you have five elements, it means the index is from 0 to 4. So let's go to a playground. Let's initialize one, arrays. So imagine, okay, okay, we have branches in our college, right? So let's go to branches. Is equal to array of, so you can tell which type it is, maybe string, and then go for CSC, then ECE, then triple E, then what? Mech, then civil, right? So this is how you uh, initialize a array in a Kotlin. So what is next? So yeah, the syntax is here. Val or var, it can be anything. Val is if it's a final variable, or var if you want to change it later. And comes a variable name, array of, then comes data type. Again, this data type is optional, okay? If at all you want to confine it to certain data type, you can put it. And then it's a list of elements. So as I told here, you see string. And how do you access it? As I told, it's ordered collection of elements. So you can access it through index. So maybe let us print the uh, first element. So it is branches. And how do you access it? Through indexing. Indexing is by through using square brackets. So if you want to have the first element, you have to type 0. So if you run this code, you get CAC. And if you type 1, it's not the first element, it's going to be the second element, that is EC. So this is how you're going to access the elements, right? Now, see, as I told, this is optional. So even without the string, it will work. So if I don't mention what type it is, and you can still run, it'll be like, okay, easy. So array is a standard form of collection of elements. From array we can move forward to list and sets. So how do we go there? Fine. Let's move to the next thing. So imagine you want to change anything, like at the first place right now there is ECE, right? So if you want to change anything in that place, you can do this branches of first, and you can override that element, maybe like what you call hello. And again, if you try to print the same one, it will be updated. If I run it, so this is what you see. Before changing it was ECE, and then after change it is hello. So this is there. But the problem with arrays is that it is it has a limit. Now if it has a 5 element, you can alter or update within those 5 elements itself. You can't access beyond that. Imagine I now right okay, now what is the size? We have CSE, EC, triple E, mech and civil. So we have 5 elements, right? So I can go index up till 4, but not more than that. So how if I type like println branches of 5, imagine 5 or 6, it should throw me an error, right? So yeah, it throws me an error telling that index 6 out of bounds length 5, means I'm asking 6, but there is only 5 elements. So you can't access beyond that. So this is basics of array. So I guess we'll move on to the next topic now. So what is next topic? So yeah, so next topics are lists. Lists are again, it's similar to arrays. It's again an ordered collection of elements. But only advantage here is you can increase the size of a list. Imagine like we have 5 lists, and if there is no enough room, uh, it can be increased dynamically in a list. But in array, if you want to add, you have to define an entire new array itself. So that's one advantage of using list. And extra info on that is list is an interface that defines properties and methods related to read only. Like there are two types, like lists, which just so you can define a list and you can only read, you can't update that stuff. And then comes mutable list. Mutables in the sense you can be updated or deleted or something, you can manipulate the list items, that's called as mutable list. So I guess let's begin with some mutable list now. Imagine we'll go with the same example, branches is equal to mutable list of, imagine CSC, PCE, triple E, I mean sorry, and CCC, triple E and civil. So we have a mutable list now. So imagine, okay, we have certain properties with this. Okay, so if you want to know what is the size of it, you don't have to manually count. You can just print out its sizes. So print len branches size. If you do that, we get the size. So we have 4 elements. We get the size as 4. So another thing is, imagine you want to get any items from that, and you want to store it in any variables. Imagine like where my branch is equal to nothing branches. Imagine in arrays we did index, right? The same thing can be done here, or you can use a method called as get branches dot get, and you have to give an index here. To index, if I give 0, and that index 0 we have CSC, and that will be stored in variable my branch. So you can print that. Try to run my branch shouldn't have CSC, right? So yes, it has CSC. So that's how you use get method. And so as I told, list you can add many items later also, right? So imagine you want to add that items later. So let's what do you call? Let's just comment this off. Before adding, let me print its size. So now I'll add one more element. So branches dot add, and give me like what, my name, PK. Now I'll print its size. Ln branches dot size. So before adding it should be 4, and after I add it should be 5, right? So yeah, initially it is 4, and after adding it is 5. So what is the next one you can go? We know we can add elements, but also list also provides provides you a option to add elements in between of these elements. Imagine you want to add my name in between CAC and EAC. You can do that by just giving its index. I want to add at first index. So this method of doing is called as function overloading. Okay, so you give multiple arguments and it changes and it works based on that. And if I okay, now again I'll just make it print for you. Print branches of maybe first, and here first. So initially it will be EC, but after I add it in the first index, the my name will be added at that place and all other elements will be pushed further. So if I try to print this, initially it was EC, then it is replaced by my name, and then the EC will be pushed to next one. So if I type branches of 2, EC will be there at second index. Yeah. So what is next? Oh, okay, I forgot. So it's not only about adding, you can also remove it. So how do you remove it? Imagine, okay, branch remove is simple. You just have to use remove method. Remove what? Um, CAC. Fine. Then again, I'll access the first index. So what would be the output? It'll still be CAC? I hope not, because okay, sorry. It prints EC and it removes CAC. And if I print first one, since CAC is removed, everything is shifted down. So for zeroth will be EC and first will be triple E. So that's what you can see here. So I've covered add. I've covered okay. I've covered remove. Okay, and imagine you want to if you don't know what elements are, but if you want to remove based on like at which place, maybe at second place or first place. So you can use one more method called as remove at, and you can use the index of 3, and maybe I'll just print the size, answer dot size. See, initially it was 4, I removed at third index, and the branches, I mean the size is reduced to 3. So that's all about manipulations of adding and removing. Also, it has one more method to check whether that item is within the that list. So how do you check that? That is using contains method. So branches or contains, and I'll type my name. So it should be false because it still doesn't have, but it has a list. I mean item CSC, right? So it should be printing true. So yeah, as you can see here, it's there. So what all we covered in lists? We covered how to initialize a list using this mutable list, then add, remove at position, adding at certain position, and contains method. So that's all pretty much about the mutable list. And one more thing, if you want to access all the elements, if you want to print all the elements within the what do you call within the list, maybe we can write a function to what do you call print everything. So maybe write a function print all branches, and we'll say it's a type list, right, of string. So okay, so I guess the previous sessions covered about loops or certain things. So let me give you an example of a for loop. So how do you initialize a for loop? You just type for items in branches, you print all items. So if you want to print everything, I'll just call that method from my main function print all, and I'll supply that. I'll provide that branches list. So let me just comment all this. If you run this, type mismatch string. Why? It's a mutable list, right? Okay, hold on. info type is string, but list string was expected. Not sure what about the type mismatch. Hold on 1 second. Oh, sorry. We're using println. Sorry, that was a simple typo error. I just called the function again. So println. So as you can see, this is function calling. You call the function, you supply that branch, and for each item, so see, it just takes one item at a time. From a list, it takes CAC and then it prints. Then it goes to next item. Then it goes to next until the entire branches is covered. I mean, the entire list is covered. So it just prints in the order we supply. So that's pretty much about lists. So what are the next topic we have? Okay, the next topic is sets. So what do we have in sets? Sets again, sets is a part of collection, but as you seen this thing, arrays and lists, it is ordered collection of elements. Like it comes one after the other, and if it can be accessed through an index, right? But sets is not like that. Sets is an unordered collection. Like it's like a basket, and you dump everything inside that, and it'll be stored within that sets. So that's about sets. So how do we initialize sets? So it's simple. It's same as other collections itself. So where branches is equal to again mutable set of, because we want to add and delete, right? So mutable set of maybe CSC, CC, simply make. So this is how you initialize a set. So again, it has a what you call size method to size, not a method. It's a attribute within the class of mutable set to define its size, to determine its size. Sorry, and you can add using the add method, same as list. So branches dot add maybe hello. So how do I check whether this has this has item hello? So uh, as I told previously, for the lists we had that contains method, right? It can be used here also. So println, sorry, branches dot contains hello. Where it should return true, but we don't have civil, right? So it should be returning false. So yep, that's about sets. And one more thing, like it doesn't throw any error even if you want to add more items, which is same. Branches dot add hello, right? it, it accepts, but still what do you call, it doesn't add more element. If I want, I'll just print the size of that. Answer dot size, sorry, which the size will be still 5. You can see, like, we have four initialized 4 elements, then we added 2 elements. No, hello is same. So I'll just tell you how this all works. Okay, so why do you say it doesn't add? Because there's something called as hash code. So every string, or which is same, is given a same value. Imagine, okay, let's go. I mean, where no need of where. Okay, println will type the code of Kotlin. So in Kotlin, every string or every item has a own code so that it can be uniquely identified. So Kotlin dot hash code. You see, that function returns a value. It's minus one one. It has certain algorithm to define that. So again, if I print the same string, Kotlin dot hash code, you may see it's totally it's different line of code, or it's a new variable or something, but it's still the same. See, the both has the same value. But if I change by one value or something, like maybe I put a capital N, the value changes because that is different from the previous one. Maybe the same, maybe the first maybe 6 digits are same, but it's not completely. The each unique strings or each unique item in Kotlin has a unique hash codes. So that's why in sets, even if you add the same what do you call item, same element, it doesn't adds a new one because the hash code of that is same. So sets completely works on hash codes. So that's pretty much about sets. So I guess what is next then? Next we'll move to okay, map. So map, it's very useful. It's widely used in all the programming languages or all. So what is map? Map is basically a key value pair. You can assign. Uh, okay, how it was in arrays, right? It was first index, uh, and we see can see here. To access number 6, you used array of 1. We gave an index to access that element. But in map, we give the key name. So if we ask map of Jupiter, it gives me the value of 78. So let's try that in playground. Maybe we don't need this breakdown anymore. So where branches will go to table map of. So let's say CAC to okay. Where is our CAC branch? It's in academic block 3, right? So CAC 3. So the advantage of using maps is the keys can be of one data type and the value can be of another data type. It will not be the same data type. And we'll go for next one, maybe triple E at academic block 2 and PCE to academic block 2 and MEC to academic block 3 and civil to academic block 1, right? So this is how you initialize the map. And if you want to print any value, know which uh, what do you call which block it is, how do you do is branches of you give the maybe that key value. So branches of triple E should return the value 2. If I try to print, it returns the value 2. So it is mapped like this, like as I showed in PPT. You can see Jupiter is mapped to 78, right? Similarly, CAC is mapped to 3. The syntax is this way. You initialize mutable map of and use 2 to assign a value to that. Again, this follows as the same methods as other collections. If you want its size, maybe branches of size, it prints the size of that. And if you want, you can still need not use index. You can use get method also. Get method to get any value of certain things, and also you can remove it. So that's pretty much about collections. Let me just check if I have any other thing else to do within maps. Oh yeah, okay, updating. So if you want to update any value, you can do it by branches of triple E, maybe 5, and println branches dot remove, or not remove, sorry, maybe branches of. As you can see, like updating is very simple. You have to just pass the key and update the value. It works. So that's pretty much about maps, I guess. So I guess we are done for the day. So let's go through once again what all we did. Let's have a quick summary. So arrays store order data of same type and have some fixed size. Like if you want to have more size, you have to define a new array. So that's not possible at all in arrays. So that's why you have lists. Okay, let me cover the second point. Arrays are used to implement many of the other collection types. Lists, okay, yeah, other collection types. Like I showed an example of string, but it need not be only string. It can be int, it can be float, or any other data type. Works. So yeah, coming to lists are resizable ordered collection. So yeah, I give an example on that. Then sets are unordered collections and cannot contain duplicates. Why it cannot contain duplicates? Because everything it works on the property of hash code, and the same same variable or a same string or same number will have a same hash code. So you can't have duplicates. And maps work similarly to sets. Again, that's what even the maps cannot contain duplicates. If I try to update CSC to 1, it just updates, it doesn't add a new, what do you call, it doesn't add a new element. It doesn't print CSC3 and CSC1. It just prints one. Okay, this three. Okay, this is of this. Wait, confusion. Yeah, it overrides. It doesn't have to. It cannot have two values for the same keys, right? So that's what is happening here. And values of the specified type. So that's pretty much about arrays, lists, sets, and maps. I guess we have come to an end. So I'm open to questions. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask now. Hello. Can you explain about maps again? Yep, sure, I can. So what exactly you want in maps? Let me give one. Okay, I'll just explain again with the PPT itself. So imagine you have something like, what do you call, a bag, maybe a huge bag. So you want to, okay, imagine it's a shelf. You want to organize, right? Maybe first top shelf goes for your college books. Second shelf goes for your comic books, or third shelf goes for your leisure books. Anything. So you should know where you have placed the book, right? So that's what key value means here. So maybe a Jupiter, and it has 78 moons. Earth has one moon. Neptune has 14 moons. So that's how you can organize any type. So I gave an example of branches in our college and at which academic block it is there. So you can see CAC. I'm giving the value for it as 3, CAC to 3, triple E to 2, ECE to 2. So I'm just giving it a values, and how you can access that, you can access the value of our map using the key. So 3 is a value here, and key for that is 3. I mean, key for that is CAC. Okay, and one more thing about map is you can have multiple, I mean, duplicate values. Values, same thing can have different things can have same values, right? So you can have similar values, but the keys has to be unique always. Even if you try to add the same key, it just overrides the value. It doesn't add a new record. And so if you want to have an organized thing, you can use this. So branches of CAC will return 3. Yeah. And yeah, you can remove it. So if you want to remove anything, it's simple. Branches dot remove of, you give the key, maybe make, and then you try to print ln branches of make. You throw an error because I removed it and you can't access it. So it's not error, it throws null because make doesn't have any value, right? So it gives me the value null. So this, it is the exception is handled so that your program doesn't crash. That's what it means. So you can again use contains method to check whether it contains or not. Branches dot contain. Oh, contain. Right. Yeah, I've removed it, right? So it's false. So basically, these methods, this contains, add, remove, can be used for all the collections. Okay, for sets and map, you can't use remove at, because sets and maps doesn't work on the index. And we have stored it as CAC, AAA, and EC here in our code. But when it's internally stored in our memory, it may not be in this order. It may be in different order. It may be stored in ascending order of the hash codes, and hash code has a certain algorithm how to find hash codes for each elements. So it's beyond our scope for this compose game. But yeah, if you want, you can read more on that on compose documentation. So I guess I've covered that. So is there anything else? Any doubts? that's all. Yep. So yeah, Hansel, like if you have any doubt or if you don't understand, like you can still contact us later when you're trying it out. Maybe once you practice, you'll get used to it. Like you guys shouldn't panic when you get an error or something. Just try it out, tweak some things, you'll find an answer. So you learn by practicing it. So just by listening, you don't get it. So try practicing it. You have a playground. You don't even have to install anything. Just go to Kotlin Playground. Like the URL is developer.android.com/training Kotlin Playground. If you want, I'll just put a link. So you can try all the basic stuffs here and then you can build your based on that. So anything else, audiences? If not, we can move to the building app session. Like, we can finish it real quick. Anybody have any doubts? If not, I guess I'll give the podium to Pratik. I guess you can carry on.
Yeah, Praveen.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, guys. So we will continue with the app today. Okay. So today we are building a fully fledged application. So as discussed yesterday, so we are discussing our app, Affirmations app. So basically, what we do in Affirmation app is we already have a set of affirmations, and we are iterating over the affirmations one by one, and we are displaying it in the form of a list. So what we are doing is first, just a quick recap on what we did yesterday. So basically, what we did yesterday was just to set up a repository from the Git. So we just cloned the repository to our Android Studio, and we set up the branches, and as well as we set up the package, which is named model, and then we proceeded with the setting up of a Kotlin class or a file. And in that Kotlin class or a file, we set up two things that is nothing but a string resource and an image resource. So these were the things done yesterday. So that was about a quick recap. And for those who were not present yesterday, so for those people, let me tell you, if you want to do it along today, so you have to open your Android Studio, and there will be on the top right corner of your Android Studio, there will be something called as get from VCS. So basically, what you have to do is you have to click on that get from VCS, and you have to open that VCS thing and just paste the URL there and put your directory where you want to install your app. So that is about how we set up through the Git repository. So for those who were not there yesterday, for the Git link for the URL, if you're doing it today, so that will be this. So I am posting it in the chat box. So this is the URL which we are going to see today. Okay, I mean, this is a URL which we have cloned yesterday. So for those people who were not there, I'm telling you the steps how you can continue ahead. So the first thing what you need to do is get from VCS, open your Android Studio, and in the top right corner you will get an option called as get from VCS, and there you get an option called as that GitHub get from VCS is there. So click on get from VCS and paste this URL there. So once you paste this URL, you will be able to access the repository. So the repository will be cloned to your local machine. So the directory you have to specify where you want to clone it. And once you clone it, it will take about 10 minutes. Then you have to go to the top. I mean, not top, the bottom left corner of your screen, where you will see an option called as Git. So click on the Git tab, and you'll get two branches. So under origin branch, the branch which you have to select is the starter branch. So right click on the starter branch and uh, click on checkout. So that is what you have to do in the initial step when you're setting it up. Once you check out the branch, let me just quickly show it to you from there on, the checkout part, because the cloning part we have already discussed yesterday, so we are not going to cover it again. So let me just quickly show it to you how that checkout works. Let me quickly share my tab, my window. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, cool. I guess the screen should be visible. Yep, the screen is visible, I believe. So yeah, here in the down bottom left corner, there is an option called as Get. So yesterday, what we did was we clicked on the starter, right click on the starter, and click on Checkout. So that time a message will come as switch to the branch origin slash starter. So next, what you need to do is very simple, guys. You need to just go to com.example.affirmations and right click on it, and then click on new, and then click on the package. And when it asks for a package, give it a name as com.affirmations. It will automatically come till that, and dot model. You have to just put it model. That is the name of our package. And inside model, we need to create a data class. So that is one more important thing. So right click on the model and click on new, and then create a Kotlin class or a file, and there you have to name it as name this class as affirmation, and click on below the first above there, it will show you a name. So suppose like this, so you have to just type the name as affirmations. Okay, affirmation, and you have to click on data class. I'm not going to create it again since we have already done it. Okay, we have already done it yesterday, so everything is done. So until here we had done yesterday, and then we had gone to affirmations, and then we had created two resources. One is a string resource and one is an image resource. I will tell you what these are needed for. This is the one thing. String resource is the affirmation, the actual affirmation which we are going to define, and second one is the image resource which we are going to see. Okay, so that is what we are going to see. And yeah, so this also has to be explicitly type specified. That is nothing but add string resource and add drawable resource. So this is what we had covered yesterday. And going to the data resource, we had also gone to the data resource, and we could have seen this as a commented part. So we uncommented this function load affirmations. So entire function was commented. So we uncommented this, and we had got an error if I'm not wrong, and that was affirmation was not imported. So we just click on affirmation anywhere near the affirmation, and then click on Alt Enter to import it to our system. I mean to our project. So without further ado, without further wasting any time, let us quickly jump into the project and quickly build our application, and we'll see how exactly we can build it. So if anyone has any questions regarding the setting of the thing, you can ask it over. So anyone, any questions, guys? I think most of you were there yesterday, so I believe you would have set it up yesterday itself. So yes, so I think we can proceed today. Yeah. So since I don't see any questions, okay, let me proceed today with the building of the application. So quickly, so what we need to do in the first place? So what we need to do is we have to create some composables. So first, we have something called as Affirmations App. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to, how we are designing our application is what our main focus is. So our application will consist of cards. Okay, and these cards will contain one image, okay, and one text. So this image and text are already there in our repo which we have already created. So in order to avoid any hassle, they've already provided us with the initial starter code. So we are just continuing it from there. We have to build application from the data which is already there. Okay, that is what our aim is today. So what we need to do is we have to create a composable function called card. Okay, so composable, and our app name, I mean our function name will be affirmation card. Okay, affirmation card. Okay, so this is our function name. So in this function we are just using the card. Okay, just we are displaying the card. So when we call this function, the card will be displayed. So that is our main aim in this thing. So moving ahead, what we need when we have this affirmation card, so what we are going to display, so those things are the parameters which we are going to pass it into this function. So what are those parameters? One is that affirmation parameter. Okay, when you click on AFF, it will come as affirmation. So this is the affirmation parameter, so it will automatically get imported. And second one is that we are using a modifier now to modify some of the things. So that means we have to use a modifier equal to modifier, and this should be explicitly type specified to modifier, because this one later we are going to use. So that is why we have to specify it as modifier. So right now you might get an error here. So not to worry about that error. Okay, it will be resolved later. Okay, since this is a parameter and we have not completed with our application, so it can be dealt with later on. Okay. So again, once this composable function is there, why we need one more function, that is nothing but the list of because see, when we are displaying the card, we need to display it as a we need to fetch the list. So one by one we have to fetch the affirmation. So we have to create a list and store all the affirmations there, affirmations and the corresponding images, and then we have to take it one by one, and then we have to show it on the screen, that is on the app screen. So that is what we have to do. So for that, what we need to do is we need to have a function for the list. Okay, for creating the list and iterating over the list. So that is what we have to create now. So let us create a composable function for that. Okay, let us create a composable function for that, and let it be private. Okay, let it be private, so that we have learned the classes. I mean, we have learned the concepts of classes and objects, as well as modifiers in the previous session, where we covered the concepts of OOPS concept, object oriented concepts in Kotlin. So the private access modifier says that you cannot access the contents outside the class. So that is what the private function means. So we will create a private function, and the name of the function is nothing but affirmation list. Okay, affirmation list. And here, what are the parameters we are taking is nothing but affirmation. So affirmation, we are not taking it as affirmations here, but rather than that, we are taking it as a list. Okay, we are taking the list of affirmation as a parameter. Okay, as a parameter. And here also we are adding the same modifier, because modifiers are essential here. Everywhere we need to explicitly specify the type. So let me just quickly write it down, modifier. So this is it. And yes, I think there is a small typo. Yeah, modifier. Yeah. Okay, yes, I think it's completely fine now. And what we need to do here is, yeah, this is the important thing, guys. So today, what we're going to learn, the one more new thing here is nothing but we are going to, learn how do we, display the affirmations using the cards, and as well as how we can build a scrollable app. Okay. Till now what we have built will not be, just if you just use a column layout, you cannot scroll through the items. So here we are using something called as lazy column. Okay, lazy column allows you to scroll through the entire app. Okay, whatever you have mentioned, if you wrap it around a lazy column, so that those cards could be scrolled up. So that is why we use the something called as a lazy column. Okay, lazy column, I think, yeah, it's the third one, so you can select it directly. So lazy column, content, we are not specifying any content here, so we don't need to specify anything. And inside that lazy column scope, we are saying items. So this is how we take the list items here. Okay, so items, uh, yes, items. So what we have to specify here, we have affirmation. So affirmation list is what we have taken it as a parameter. So affirmation list is what we are taking. Okay, and what we have to pass it out. Okay, we use an arrow function here. So what we do is, I think I can continue it from here. Okay, cool. Fine. So affirmation, and then we pass an arrow function to this, and we say affirmation card. So here we call affirmation card component, and here we pass the parameter affirmation itself. Okay, we are not passing any other parameter. So same thing, we are passing it here also. So that is what we are doing here. So yes, I think here some way I missed it out. So here, yes. So this parameter is the affirmation list. So that is what we are taking it here. So what is the error here? So type mismatch. It is of end. So yeah, items. So yeah, we had not imported it, so that was the error it was showing. So it is completely fine now. We have set up the lazy column, that is a card to a list of items where you can scroll through it. Okay, so how do we take the items from the list? So we say items. We call the items method. So inside the items method, we have the affirmation. So affirmation, that is nothing but affirmation card we call. So each time we call this affirmation list, it displays each individual item. So that is what arrow function, we pass it to the arrow function. The arrow function maps it to the affirmation card. And affirmation card, we call the affirmation that each individual affirmation will be fetched. So this is what happens in the private function. So this was our private function. So of course, compose the apps are mainly famous for its a preview feature which we can use to preview again, just a preview. We are setting it up, so composable fun affirmation card preview, affirmation card preview, and we are not passing anything here. So and then we say affirmation theme. Where is it? Yeah, I think it is the fourth one. Yes, affirmation theme, and we are not passing it anything here, and we are just having a preview here. What we have to call is affirmation card. So affirmation card is what we call here, and affirmation we are passing it as affirmation of r dot string. Just the first affirmation which we, if we want to preview, we are doing that r dot string. Why is it not displaying? Okay, string resource. Let me click on alt enter. No, nothing is shown. Okay, fine. We'll continue with that. R dot string. I think it's not displaying the string because. Oh yeah, string is not capital S. Yes. It is small s. Now it is displaying r dot string dot affirmation one. So let us just display the first affirmation, and the second parameter we are going to pass is nothing but the tribal, that is the image. Okay, r dot tribal dot image one. Yeah, perfect. So this is what the preview which we need, and we are good to go. Oh, I think okay, a small mistake, guys. This has to come inside this. Okay, I'm just copy pasting that here inside this. So the parameter should come, of course, inside that. And what we are doing is affirmation card we are calling, and inside that affirmation we are passing the parameter. That is, this is nothing but uh, you know affirmation which we pass to the affirmation card. So affirmation is the named argument here. So this affirmation is the named argument here, and the affirmation which we call is nothing but the affirmation from the from the data source. So what we have, so and from there we take the affirmation one and image one. So if you want to know what is this data affirmation, so this is it. So affirmation one, that is the first image and the first this thing, we are just previewing it. So yeah, I think that is it for the preview part. So we can have the preview later. So for now we will continue with the actual code of the application. So what we need to do is very simple here. So go to this affirmation theme here, and we have to write some code here. So what we have to display here, it is we have to display affirmation list, because affirmation inside affirmation list here, the function which we just defined, affirmation list, we call affirmation card. Okay, we call the function called affirmation card. So card will be displayed automatically when you call the affirmation list. So that is what we are calling it here, and the parameter we are passing here should be, as I told, the all the things will be present in the data source. So we have to call the data source. So data source. So since it is a class, we are calling it like this, and use a dot operator to call to load all the affirmations. Okay, to you just load all the affirmations to the list, and when you pass the list to this private function affirmation list, and yeah, is there any issues with this? I think yeah, it is fine. It is fine. So affirmation list and affirmation list, whatever we are passing, it will go to the data source and it will fetch. So it will call this private function affirmation list, and this will be passed. Affirmation list will be passed to this. So affirmation list, I think it should be highlighted. So never mind. While we are using other things, it might be, yeah, okay. So we'll start off with the affirmation card code. Okay, and in the affirmation card code, we have already passed a parameter for affirmation where we have all the affirmations. And now what we are doing is we are creating a layout. So before creating a layout, what we are doing today is creating a card. Okay, so we are creating a card today. So before creating any layout, we have to have a card. Okay, so for card we can have the modifiers later on. So let us quickly come to the card and how card should be. Of course, it's a column layout inside that. Now we have to add a column layout. So column layout. So inside a column layout we are not passing anything. Okay, we are just inside column layout. So what we have here, so inside the card we have to have an image and we have to have a text. So we have to add these two things. So quickly we'll add those things. So image, how do you add the image art? So now till now we have added many image components in the past sessions also. So painter resource, what we are doing is nothing but we are just calling the affirmation. Okay, affirmation dot image resource id. So we are just passing this here, and content description we can give it as, what we can give. I think you can give it as a string resource. Okay, string resource id. So this is what we had we had put in the affirmation.kt. So see here, string resource id and image resource id. So this what it does is it will take the entire list and store it in this, so we can fetch all the contents from there. So that is what happens here. So what we need to do is we have to have id, we had it as image resource. So content description, what should we have? It is the string resource, correct? So string resource is what we need to have it here. Okay, so string resource. So string resource id equal to affirmation dot string resource id. So perfect. So this is what we need to have. So in the painter resource we are passing the image resource, and in the content description we are passing it as string resource. So these are the parameters which are passing inside the image. Okay, so once this image is done we have to add quick little things. Okay, I think image tag ends here. So what we need to do is we'll add a quick modifiers, that is nothing but the image. Okay, so I think if we add modifiers later, it is better, because we can just see the preview once we are done with it. So we'll add a text component. So text component, everyone knows now by now, since we have already been doing this. Okay, text component again, we are having a string resource, and this is nothing but affirmation dot string resource id. Just now we had passed same thing, we are passing it here, and here also we need to pass some modifiers. So before passing any modifiers and before having any styling as a material theme or anything, so before that we will just quickly go ahead and pass the modifiers, because without modifiers I don't think it will be able to work. So since here modifier we have specified, it is definite that we need to have the modifiers. Okay, cool. uh, yeah, so we'll pass the modifiers to the card. Okay, so maybe I'm just assuming, okay, just a random value. So modifier equal to modifier. So modifier dot padding. So padding. Oh, why there an error here? Rename reference. No, oh, I think this is not that usual error. So yeah, I think we can continue with this for now. Okay. Uh, modifier looks cool to me. Yes. Okay. Cool. 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 We will see that error later on. So 0.dp. We will not give any padding right now. Okay. For now, let it be like this. And what else we can keep? Okay, for the card there is some property called as elevation. So this helps in the giving a shadow to the card. Okay, shadow to the card. So 4.dpa, though, just a little shadow we are passing in. Okay, and I'm not sure why we are facing this padding error. So maybe give some value dot padding dot. Okay, this is not okay. This is proper. uh yeah, let me rewrite it again. Padding, nope, doesn't seem to change. So let me give it as it is for now. Okay, let me change it later on if at all we are still getting that error. So what is the error in this part? No, it's not any import alias. Yeah. So let me say again, modifier. What modifier we are passing is the type of modifier itself. Okay, modifier. It is not a method for sure. Okay, so now for now let it be. Okay, we'll see that later. So we'll add some modifiers to the image also. Okay, so image, what modifiers we'll add is modifier equal to modifier, and this modifier dot fill max size. Again, it shows an error here. Um Let me quickly check it over. Just a minute. Hey, yep, yep. Code seems fine to me. Yeah, last time also we had faced similar issues. Modifier. Yeah, just let me retype it. Modifier equal to. It's not this modifier for sure. Modifier. And this modifier is nothing but modifier. Again, there is some error which is there for now. Okay, what is it? What does it say? Class modifier does not have a companion object, thus must be initialized here. Okay, got this. Just a minute, guys. Mhm. Just let me get back to you. Just a minute. Okay, so yeah, it should be modifier itself. So do we need to have any imports regarding this? Hmm. So I don't think any imports are required. Think modifier Android compose UI dot modifier. Okay, I think it is not this one. If I say that and just go here, modifier. It is UI dot Android. Okay. Yep. This was the error. I think it was not due to earlier modifier. Okay, so that was the error which we were facing, the import issues, guys. So this is the one of the trickiest part in Compose. So we often face some issues. So this is from the Compose UI. So earlier what we had was from the package. So Android X package. So this is from the Compose Android this thing. So you can see it here. If you guys want, see, you can see it here. So earlier, what modifier we were referring was Java dot lang Java modifier. So it is not a Java modifier; it is a Kotlin modifier. That is the reason why we were facing this error. So without wasting any time, so we'll just quickly continue it here. So dot height we can give it as around maybe 190 dp. Okay, that much. Let me just just random height I'm giving, so that both the image the image should fit properly. So in order for the image to fit properly, we have to add content scale. Okay, content scale and content scale dot crop. Yes, perfect. And for the text also, we'll add some modifiers. So what modifiers we can add is modifier. Again, here's, yeah, modifier is something tricky part. So I think, no, I mean, I suggest you all go and explore this modifier and experiment things with modifiers, because it's a really interesting property wherein you can add so many steps having this modifiers. So I will give some the standard padding which we give the in compose, that is nothing but 16 dp. And yeah, for now this is enough, I guess, for the modifiers. And yeah, one more thing, we'll try to add a styling, okay, to this, okay. And this styling, we will have a material theme for this styling. So what we will do is, we'll have a material theme. So material theme, I think you can have a dot property. Yes, yeah. This property is typography. Yeah, typography is what we need, and I think, we can import it. Okay, uh, let it not be. So typography and dot h. Maybe I can give h6. Yeah, I think create a function for this. I think I have to import this material UI, material theme typography, or what is it? What is it? Okay, it created a function, so that was not required. Okay, that was not required. Yes, yes, yes. So I think now things are fine. So we will quickly go ahead and run the app. Before that, we will see if the preview is available. So it's not showing for now. So we will not worry about the preview part. So we'll just quickly go ahead and run the app and test it. So yes, of course, this is our first build, and emulator also has to start. So it will take a couple of minutes. So let us just wait for the app to get built. So till here, anyone any doubt, you can go ahead and ask here, guys. So we'll wait for the app to build. So this was the previous app, which is being loaded. I don't see any errors, so it should be compiled fine. We'll wait for a couple of minutes, okay, for the build to get completed, and then for the app to be installed and loaded. Then we'll test the app. Okay, so yeah, our build is complete. So the app is ready to launch. If everything is perfect, it's so it should work perfectly. Yes, we see our first full-fledged application here, guys. So yeah, so this is what we have built, and let us just test a small thing that is nothing but the scrollable thing. Okay. Yeah, perfect, perfect, guys. See, that is it. That is it. So this is how our app works, and this is how we can do a scrollable list. We just here one thing to note that here everything was built in. So instead of the built-in data, you can put your own data, and you can access the things here. So here we just created a card, and see, as you can see guys, so the elevation property, so this is the elevation property. You get a small shadow here. Okay, you can customize it, even more customize it. You can round it around the corners of the cards, and you can customize your app however you need. So one good satisfaction is that, so congratulations to everyone who have attended this session. So you have learned to build an application on creating a card, and having images and text in this. So also, one of the important and interesting feature of this app is it is a scrollable, and we have affirmation, so you can use it as a daily motivation, and you can daily add more and more things to it. And you can even set up a cloud storage, maybe Firebase or something, and you can push your data there, and you can have enormous opportunities, and you can you can explore everything which you are interested in. So especially when it comes to building an app, there are many things. So as we use just a small part of material UI, that is a material theme, that is nothing but the typography. H6 is nothing but, if people are familiar with web development, H6 is the heading styles. So that is what we used here, instead of specifying explicitly specifying a font size. So that was it for today, guys. So that was a pretty much a complete application what we have built today. And I ask all of you guys to try it over, try it individually, so that you will learn something out of this. So yeah, guys. So if you have any doubts, guys, it's the time to ask, because later on also will be available at our Discord. You can feel free to contact us on Discord, and we'll be ready to help you guys, and make sure do all the submissions we ask you for, so that you can be a part of our team, and you get a chance to work on real projects which will be submitting to the Google. So yeah, guys, so that was all for today. Okay. Any doubts, guys? Any doubts? No, do ask it now. If no doubts, then we can wind up the session. So we'll wait for a minute if anyone has any doubts to ask, and then we'll wind down. Okay, so since I don't see any doubts here, so yeah, guys, so this was our final session of the Compose Camp. So we had done, 4 events on the Compose Camp. So we had covered various topics starting from the first week onwards. First week we just built a simple UI, and we had given an assignment on building a visiting card application. So that was, I think, everyone who were watching this had seen that basic application, visiting card application, which had been popped up. So that was the first assignment which was given in the first session. So that was our first thing. We had built an application wherein a simple birthday card application was there. In the week 2, we had done something something more, something interesting. So building an app UI, more like more inclusively. And in the week 2, we had also done a dice rolling application. So that was the week 2 task. So how you can utilize your own app, without suppose you want to play some board games. I know nobody plays it nowadays, definitely. So but still you can use your own app. That satisfaction you get from when you build your own application, so that cannot be matched with anything, guys. So yes, so that was the second event. And the third event, we just started set up the things so that we could complete our full-fledged application today. So that was it for the session, guys. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I also hope that you guys would follow this up and practice at home and do the submissions. And we are really looking forward for you guys who are interested, to be a part of our projects, and help us with developing some cool things, and we can together learn and do some better things. So that was all for today, guys. So we'll see you in the next sessions, and if any doubts, contact us on Discord, guys. And yeah, that was it for today. So thank you all, thank you for your patience, and thank you for attending. So yeah, bye, guys.